That was hilarious. I have a little bit of a different topic today, as every video is a different topic, kind of how these things work. I want to talk about specifically the body as geography. And I've done this before in my essays. I talk about space all the time. And what else is space? Oh, yeah, the very atoms we occupy. And so when we talk about our bodies as geography, we're talking about our bodies as a landscape. We're talking about our bodies as space, as in the material world. We're not just this kind of orb, this formless being. We are, in fact, kind of this corporal, not kind of, we are this corporal being. I'm here. You can take this thing and put it everywhere else, but I'm still always here. I think it can be a really, really good way of viewing the body, especially as we, live in a world where the body is very much demonized. It's not always treated very, very well, not just by ourselves, but by others. And we use it kind of as a vulnerability oftentimes. But space has that capacity too. Space is also exploited, hurt, and we can reconcile these things. So we can talk a little bit about this in the context of like body neutrality, first of all, because this is not going to be a way or a process of judging your body. It's going to be a way of mapping your body and figuring out all four corners of where you are as the body that you occupy, and what it means to fill that out and embody that entirely. Because I feel like a lot of times we're like, this is us. This is us. But it's like, we got the whole thing, baby. We got the whole thing going on. And, we have this whole thing that we can occupy and we can give attention to, and we can kind of map that out in its own way. But yeah, we don't really think of the body often like that. We think of the body as this thing to be judged, as this thing that we put out into the world. And it's like, fuck, people have to look at it. Oh my God. But what if we viewed it like we do space? And that could be that we view it again like it's something that can be occupied. It's something that you can be present within. It's something that carries stories and history to the point where, let's point out, the stories are also subject to change based on the meanings and definitions you have of the day. So those stories are not definitive. You're not like, well, this thing happened to me, so now that's the definition of what this body is. If that's how you find that to be progressive for you, that's great, but it's also not necessary if you don't feel that that's helpful for you at all. Not only is there like this kind of, we can compare this with the environment, right? We can talk about how we have mountains which have occurred over whatever time. We have histories in the sense that you have the land has aged, time has gone on, and also that kind of inevitability of constant change, again, both with meanings and also in just like the physical way. Like, you look different, maybe you dye your hair every 5 minutes. Hey, I would do that if my hair wasn't so fucking dead. But I think sometimes when we talk about, if we talk about the body as space, we talk about the body as land, we talk about this as sacred space, that we have the once in a fucking, we're the only person in the entire fucking cosmos, the only person in the entire cosmos of all time, of all space, who gets to have one of you. That's pretty fucking cool. And once it's gone, it's gone. Right? Like, that's just yours. Like, how badass is that? Assuming that no one tries to take that away, which some people do. But I think the metaphor of space is really helpful because we have sometimes difficult relationships with our bodies. Maybe we can be more compassionate, or have a different perspective if we view it as space, like we would a forest or a beach or your happy space. If you could imagine that that's something you can occupy, you can live within, you can be present within, you can feel the sensory experience of. That's the coolest part about being alive, is the sensory experience that we maybe won't get as just a soul. And we can thank our bodies for that. But we can also talk about, topography and these landmarks. We can talk about, I have a pox scar on my nose from when I had chicken pox in grade 6. That happened. And it also, sometimes I see it and I'm like, fuck, I remember being in grade 6 and like the girls in my class being like, when is that gonna go? Like, is it gonna heal? Is it gonna like disappear? And hating it. And also now I don't give a fuck because I'm like, God, God, I have way different things to be worried about now. But evidence of change, but also of experience. Like, I have this scar, I have freckles from times I've been in the sun, I have, my hair that I've cut and not cut. Yeah, these really, really cool ways of like demonstrating that those kind of things. The coolest way, in my opinion, are piercings and tattoos. I have piercings. My first helix piercing, which is not in my ear, I got in the 8th grade, and I was like, yeah. Oh yeah, by the way, guys, look at my helix piercing. Oh, no worries, guys. Hot stuff coming through. I got my helix pierced. And then obviously getting older, getting tattoos. Tattoos that I don't even like anymore, but they're just like evidence of who I was at the time, and I've never lost that meaning. Even if the meanings themselves aren't as significant, the meaning that it was who I was and the decision that I made at that time is also significant in its own right, and I will never regret that, because it was what I needed at the time. But also you have tension and posture, and your tension can be something that ebbs and flows like all things. It's also just a part of the experience that is sometimes difficult, but also sometimes great. Not great. It's never great, but it's sometimes just a part of it. It's neutral or it's bad. I'm also never going to be the person to say that like your experience of your body as landscape is the exact same as my experience of my body as landscape. They're very different, just because once again we have that one of we're the only person in the world who's going to experience this, which can be isolating, but also unifying. Like, I can touch this plant that's next to me, right? And how I feel it, I feel this plant, the plant feels me. Maybe you might feel it differently, but also we both get to feel the plant. So badass in its own right. But yeah, I won't say that my experience is the same as yours, and you won't say that your experience is the same as mine, and both of us are right. But also, if we talk about this really, really cool aspect of the body, it's movement. And I don't necessarily mean in terms of like specific mobility, in terms of like walking, running, stretching, any of those things. Those are, parts of the experience for some people. But I also just mean the fact that like we are the only geographies that can like fucking move, regardless of how you get there. Like your geography moves wherever you want to go. It shapes the way you are and the way you move and the way the world views you, but also the way you view the world. And yeah, anyways, the body is just a unique landscape in and of itself, and it's shaped by experience, memory, time, and also our own sense of whatever those things mean. If you read any of my essays, you know that the body is a bit of a tricky subject for me, as it is most people. It can be tough, and it is very normal for anyone to find ways to cope with the way the world views bodies. And a lot of times it's disconnection and distance. And I don't mean like, as it's hard because you can like, I don't know, you can segment yourself into like body and mind, even though your mind is your body. We find ways to survive, and whether that's through trauma or just, being a person in the world or just having insecurities or whatever it fucking is, the human experience is complicated and blah, blah. But for whatever reason, you might have decided to disconnect from your body. And what are some ways that helps, I don't know, reconnect? I'm still not great with it, but really just any like body scan or meditation has been great for me. Any like mobility. Sometimes like I'm left-handed, so like sometimes my wrists bug me, doing mobility. And they don't have to be hard, but yeah, that's a way that you can explore sensation regardless, and that can be through any of those kind of more like exercise things, but also paying attention to your body. And I think one of the things that I've learned, and I'm not going to tell the story because it's not my story to tell, but one of my friends kind of has a story that alluded to just like kind of looking at yourself over time, develops a neutrality of it. And especially like the more, if you ever had this, but like you would like see yourself and be like, oh god, please. We had this full length mirror when you walked into the local mall when I was a kid. I'd be like, fucking stop. I was also like so afraid of mirrors as a kid. I thought they were all haunted. They probably were. Oh, please. But yeah, no, her experience was that, she looked at herself a bunch and she was like, oh, cool, this is me. It wasn't necessarily a positive experience. It wasn't necessarily a negative experience. It was just like you got used to your face. And I took that and I was like, that's fucking hilarious, first of all. I wish you could hear the story. But also just what great, familiarizing yourself with yourself builds comfort and just the, because you don't get to see yourself all that often. So when you do see yourself, it is like the, oh, please go away. And often like also looking at yourself too much can be not great, but examining yourself in a non-judgmental way and just being like, this is what I'm working with today. It's great. I found it helpful, at least. And when that can be like through journaling too, that can be through, just doing your makeup and really paying attention, not picking yourself apart. You can look at these things because when you're looking at, sticking to the metaphor, you're in a forest or a beach or a mountainous landscape or a desert or whatever, your happy place is. Are you like, that mountain is just too big? That mountain is just too pointy. No, who has the time? And that is the same philosophy I would apply to your body. And yeah, we can kind of, continue to extend. We can talk about, connection to your body or connection to your memory and sense of like tattoos and piercings and these parts of yourself that you've been and the thing that you've carried yourself through, and it can hold those memories. And yeah, you can have these kind of like evidences of and also taking a neutral stance on those things is really important, because I could be like, oh, I fucking hate this tattoo, which I don't love it. Don't love it. I don't love my tattoos because what the fuck are they? But the point is that your body is as it is because you were as you were, and because the world happened the way that it did, and the things, you know, unraveled as they were, and the genetics and the fucking everything. And there's too many factors for you to blame one thing. There's too many factors for you to judge all things. And so it is as it is. Your body is not, you know, there's no point in being like, stupid body, do this thing. Get frustrated. Absolutely get frustrated. We are animals after all. Get frustrated. I get frustrated every day. But do not let it lend to self-hate or self-judgment further than it needs to. We're all people. Things happen. But don't let it contribute to your sense of identity. And here's my favorite thing about the body as a landscape. You get to decorate it. Same thing with tattoos. You get to decorate it. You get to dye your hair. You get to do your makeup. You get to wear what you want to wear. You get to, you know, show up how you want to show up. You get to be creative. You get to self-express. You can wear jewelry. You can wear cool outfits, cool shoes. You can get tattoos. I already said all these things, but you can do so many things and present yourself in this unique way, much like you could your own home, right? Because it is your own home. What can I say? Home is not other people. Home is not other people. Home is you. And you can find home in other people, but that's more so if their home is compatible with your home. Just like really take the time to explore. I really like this idea. I've kind of used it. I've used space in a lot of ways, the concept of space, the experience of space. We all use space in our daily lives, but it's even more helpful when we use space to become present. We use space to engage meaningfully, to engage as honestly, authentically, and experientially as possible. We're getting the whole scope of the experience. Last thing you want to find out is that you're on your phone the whole time. Not to say that like I love phone time, guys. Never judging the phone time. But what you don't want to find out is that you've been given this cool corporal experience and you haven't had the opportunity to map the landscape that you've been given, external or internal. It's not easy. So I know when I talk about things, I'm talking about them in like a less than 20-minute video. So it's not simple. It's not easy. This is years and years and years of me thinking about this. It's years and years and years of me working on this. And I'm still working on it. And it's scary and it's uncomfortable. And there are things that you don't want to feel and that might be felt. And it takes a lot of courage. So don't be hard on yourself if it's difficult. Don't be hard on yourself if it ebbs and flows in difficulty. It's kind of inevitable, to be honest with you. And your body is this whole feeling machine. So it can be hard and it can be scary. And it is a process and it is a practice, like all of life. This is the Sisyphus going up the hill. This and all things. All things. Anyways, folks. Bye.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.